Hi everybody, this is Lolly from lollychops.com, and today I'm going to do a little demo for you using some Faber-Castell products. These are some of the gelatos, and these are the Pitt big brush pens, and then I've also got some of the watercolor pencils here. I did a project last week where I showed this little wood block and I cut out a little square of paper that fits on top of it, and I used some of the gelatos for the background shading and then did some of the stamping and then the coloring in with some of these products. I also made a little muslin bag, and I just stamped using the big brush pen again, just to make like a cute little impression there. And then this is kind of a sample, kind of a scrap piece of muslin that I had, and again I just used those big brush pens and I just stamped a bunch of different images on there using some of the different colors that they had. So here's just kind of how those came out. You can see some of the detail. It's pretty nice. Lots of birds, butterflies, of course. And one of my favorite projects that I made were these little onesies, and I just, again, with those same pens, I just stamped directly onto the onesie, and these have actually been washed, so you can tell that they're color fast and they make a really nice impression. So I'm going to show you how all this stuff works, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first demo I'm going to do is using the Artist Big Brush pen, and I'm just going to show you how you can do some different coloring. This is just a clear acrylic stamp from Amuse, and I'm just going to show you how you can use these pens to get some different shading and colors within a single stamp. And that's one of the things that I really like about them, is that you can get a lot of detail and maybe add some specific colors to some sections of your stamps. So you just kind of color it in, you just kind of brush it in. It's got a nice thick big brush just like it says, and I'm using, let's see, that brown is called dark sepia and this green is the permanent green olive, and I'm just going to rub the color right onto the stamp. And you can use, so far I've been able to use them with my my red rubber stamps and then also just my acrylic stamps as well, and it seems to do really well. So you just press that down. I'll kind of rock it a little bit, and then you can see that it has a lot of really nice detail, and then I've got the green branches and then the little brown pine cone bottom. So the next version I'm going to show you is using a little wood block stamp, a red rubber wood block stamp. You're going to take that same Pitt big brush pen and you're just simply going to rub it over the top of the stamp. And I usually go over it twice just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Sometimes if my stamps are really worn and they've got a lot of leftover ink on them, it's kind of hard for me to see. So I usually just kind of go over everything twice. And then I've got a piece of scrap muslin here that we're going to stamp onto. I've already been stamping lots of other little rabbits. So you can kind of see, you just go ahead and lay that down and press it in. And then you see that you end up with a really nice impression using that Artist, the big brush Pitt pen. And this is washable, so you'll be able to, after it's dried, you'll be able to run it through the wash and this image is going to stay on there. So let me show you really quick how I did the onesies using the same stamp. And again, you can use acrylic stamps or you can use these red rubber stamps. I'm just going to take that little baby onesie, and then I'm just going to kind of center it on the table exactly where I want to put that rabbit. And using that same blue, and this is the cobalt turquoise, I'm just going to rub that on there. And finding the center, let's see, think about right there, I'm just going to press that down. Sorry, we're kind of out of the picture a little bit, but I'll scoot it up in just a second. And you can see that I have a nice impression of that little rabbit on this little baby onesie. So it's going to be color fast, it'll wash. I think I probably got a little bit too much ink on there, but if you kind of play around with your stamps and your fabric and just kind of see what works, it looks like it made a pretty good impression. So that's how